Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to have a look at a extra fun feature that we have available on the MPC. Now, it's a bit of a hidden feature. It's not right there in your face. You have to tweak some knobs to get the exact parameters that we want to make it happen. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to be using a drum loop, but obviously this can be used for any type of sample, any type of sound. So let's dive into it. I have a loop right here. It's a drum loop. Okay, one of the things I want to do is quickly go here and turn this into beats so I can see the measurement right there. So I know that this beat is 2 bars long. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the trim option and I'm going to go to the threshold so I can slice my sound. So it sliced the sound in a few options there. Let me see if I can get some more. Right, cool. As you see, the threshold function isn't working quite as it used to. It used to work quite well, but nowadays something's wrong with it. I've sent an email to Akai about this. Hopefully they'll fix it. Threshold isn't working quite well, so I'm just going to use regions. I'm going to use 32 regions for this, so we can get a very complex rhythmic sound going. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in here. And I just want to make sure that I get those transients quite right. And that's why I wanted to use the threshold, so I could get as close as I can to the transients when I slice my sound. Now, I'm not going to be very accurate here in the video just because of time-wise, but, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to slice my sound into several sections so I can randomize between them. All right. So it's okay-ish, but we're going to use it. We've divided the sample, the drum loop, into different slices there. So 32. What we're going to do now is convert this. And as we saw, there were 2 bars, right? So we're going to convert this and create events. And it's going to place the slices. When you create events, it places the slices correctly on the grid, right? So if there's any swing to the drums, and that's why I wanted to use threshold, so we could get those transients and then place those transients correctly on the grid. And that's what it does when you create events. So it places all the slices accordingly to their position on the loop. It's going to position those slices on the grid. So we're going to do this. We're going to create a new program using slices. I'm using this way, but you know, you'll see that you can use this technique in many different ways. So pad parameters, create events. Yeah, 2 bars, do it. Perfect. Let's go to the main. Let's go to the grid. There we go. Let's make this a 2-bar sequence. If I zoom in there, you'll see that some of the MIDI notes are not on the grid, and that's because we we chopped those slices in the transients. So the transient wasn't on beat, it was a bit off beat. So when it places the MIDI notes, as you see, it places all the MIDI notes accordingly to their position, to their swing on the grid. Okay, so that's good. And now we have our drum. So I hear some clicks and pops there, probably because this isn't chopped correctly. But anyway, I'm not going to lose too much time with this. So anyway, we have all our slices, and they're all evenly spread out in the grid. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to go into the drum program. I'm going to put this to all so I can edit all pads at the same time. And be very careful when you use the all function. Sometimes you turn a knob and you don't even realize that you are in the all function, and then you're actually editing all the pads at the same time. So be careful with that. Now, the reason why I'm doing it is because I'm going to go here to the samples, and I'm going to place a different sound here in the layer number 2. Okay. So I'm going to choose probably a snare. I think this is a snare. Let me put this to cycle so I can listen to it. So what I'm doing here when I'm hitting the pads, because I set the second layer of all the pads. Remember, I'm editing all the pads at once. So the second layer now has a snare on all the pads. So you're hearing a first sound and then a second sound, which is the snare. And again, I'm doing this in a very minimalistic way. You can choose a specific sound for each second layer of each pad, okay? But I'm just going to put a snare in the second layer of all the pads just so this video goes faster. How does this really work? Now, this works because we're going to do this. So all the MIDI notes there are here, they are in full velocity, meaning that they are set to 127, okay? Now go back to the program, and layer 1, which is our normal slices from the loop, right? So all the slices of the loop are set in layer 1. And if we go to pan velocity, you'll see that, okay, so we go here and we say that the second layer will only be triggered up to velocity 126, right? So what does that mean? It means that it's never going to be triggered. The second layer is only going to be triggered if there's a MIDI note lower than 127. Now, because all the MIDI notes in the grid are set to 127, the second layer here will not be triggered because the value only goes up to 126. If I turn it to 127, you'll hear 2 sounds playing at the same time. Because this is set to velocity, it will trigger 2 sounds at the same time. Now, if we turn it to 126 or less than that, you will not hear the second layer because all the MIDI notes in the grid are set to 127. So you need to keep the MIDI notes in the grid to 127. Okay, cool. So what does that mean? Well, it means now that we can jump in between randomness and velocity. So if we go to the modulation screen, we can now set, if we tap on the randomness, it will randomize between the 2 layers. Now, if you have more layers with more sound, you see where I'm going, you can randomize even more. So there's plenty to work there just by using this technique. And that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. There's plenty to work there. This is definitely something that you're going to enjoy using. I'm glad that you guys are watching my videos. Please keep supporting the channel so I can keep bringing in more videos like this one. You know, if you do support the channel, you know, I have time to actually make videos more than I've been making. If you're not on my Patreon, you know, think about it. Go to the Patreon. It's only like $1 a month. It's not like it is $1 a month, and you know you're gonna get content there. There are samples that I make, and key groups that I make as well. Everything goes into the Patreon, and yeah, it's like you're supporting the channel. You're supporting the videos that I make, ideas that I come up with, like this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this idea, It's really fun to use and you can do a lot with it. So there's plenty to do there with melodic content, not just drums. You know, be creative and enjoy your music, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you on the next video, okay? Thank you.